Good afternoon. I will be speaking about my teaching problem, which is actually applying research into practice. It's how to make the course content more understandable to the student. Um, this is a common problem affecting faculty today. Uh, Teachers have so much knowledge and they have trouble uh, translating the info into the students to where they can understand it. Um, I especially wanted to solve this problem because I had a physics teacher that spoke in terms that we couldn't understand. And if he used a tech tool, like the one I'm going to be explaining further, um, I think we could have understood the material a lot better. Um, because let's face it, students who are engaged learn more efficiently and information is retained for longer periods of time. And that's what we want. We want students to retain the information so they can use it further down the line. Uh, these are the three tools that were possible technology tools to solve the teaching problem. First is Google Docs, second's Clickers and Plickers. Uh, Google Docs. Right here is the pros. Anyone can have access to it, anyone with internet. Fairly easy to use, and teams can collaborate and critically think about the assignment, and they can work together and make changes to the document. Um, and the cons, though, student without a computer wouldn't be able to participate in the activity. So most of us have computers, but not everyone. One student could also alter another classmate's work, and that could change the whole project and could give them a failing grade. So there's nothing really set in place that could prevent that. And also, it lacks all the capabilities of Microsoft Word. It doesn't have all the functions that Microsoft Word could possibly use. Um, the next tool is Clickers, and it's a classroom response system, but students can respond to questions individually. Um, they It engages students and gets them to critically think, and also it motivates them to read the assigned material prior to class because the teacher is going to ask them a series of questions in class and they need to be able to answer it. If a lot of students are answering it wrong, he's going to know these students are not reading the material. The cons of using clickers is it's a faculty-driven decision, and it's also is not effective for teachers that fear technology if they don't know how to use it. And even though it's fairly easy to use and to get it working, um, some faculty that just resist change, resist technology, they won't be able to implement the tool to where the students can learn better. Also, it can be costly because each student needs their own clicker, and also the teacher needs a tool as well. So it can be an added cost to the institution, which could divert them from making this decision and adding this to the classroom. Um, Now, the third one is Plickers. This also is a classroom response system, but it also engages students and promotes critical thinking. Um, the they're able to answer questions anonymously. Those who are afraid to raise their hand, they can raise their or answer these questions without anyone knowing that they got the wrong answer. Because it's very embarrassing to raise your hand and answer the question incorrectly, and you have many people looking at you, and it's it's embarrassing. So it also requires little setup time, allows the teacher more time to focus on teaching rather than setting up. It's fairly easy to use, to little training time. I actually Googled how to use it, and it was really easy. It's also inexpensive. The students you just have to print out Plicker cards for each student, and you download the app on your phone, which is free, and that's pretty much it. You're looking at ink and paper. Um, The cons are it requires a lot of ink to print out the Plicker cards. It has a solid black uh, straight line figure in the middle, and that uses a lot of ink. Um, and they recommend using it on cardstock. I used it on paper and it worked just fine. They just said not to laminate them. So you would probably have to reprint. They wouldn't be able to be reused for so many times. Also, the application could fail. It's technology. It's not always going to work. So it's also relies solely on the teacher's smartphone or tablet. So if they forget their tablet or smartphone or the battery dies, that could be a problem. Um, so the most effective tool out of these three that I chose is to solve the teaching problem is Plickers. Um, Plickers, what is it? It is a classroom response system, app that teachers can use without having devices for each student. It's using the cards. Um, so how does it work? Each student is given a card with the visual code, and each one is different. And I had the ones I printed out were numbered. You can specify a student for each card, and it has their name, and so that way when they answer, you can see who actually answered it. So that it has on each side it has a letter A, B, C, D because those are going to be your answers. And the answer that you think is correct, you're going to have it at the top of the card, and that's how you're going to hold it. Um, so it's simple. It's easy for the teacher, easy for the students. All they have to do is hold the card up to the right answer, and that's it. Um, so this is what it looks like on your phone. So the students hold these cards up and the data is transposed into the application, and it will tell you how many answered A, B, C, or D. And then once you get out of there, it will tell you the percentage that answered correctly, and it actually calculates that. Um, so I said got Plickers because they even have young students using it. So that means that anyone can use it. So these are the students. Um, I'm sorry, the subjects. I tested the product on 5 subjects. 4 questions were asked. This is, I kind of geared it towards volcanoes. Not sure why, just sounded interesting. So I did questions on, this one was, what year did Mount St. Helens erupt? And 4 people got it right. 1 person got it wrong. The question number 2 was another about the temperature. And so 3 people got it right and 2 people got it wrong. Third question, kind of similar, but everyone got it right. So it says 100%. And this one, it says 80% because 1 person out of 5 got it wrong. So results. The data is easily collected. The results are instant. And it gives you how many students answered it correctly. It's fairly inexpensive. All you have to do is print out the cards, and the app is free. So class activities and student engagement equals student success, and that's what we want. We want in college. We want students to succeed. So implementation challenges, excuse me, it's technology. They're going to experience challenges. So Plickers could fail. The application could fail. Your smartphone or tablet could fail to scan the Plicker cards. I know when I was doing it, I had to hold it over, and if the paper was bent, it wouldn't scan it. So I had to go over it and stop it and make sure that every card was scanned correctly. Also, when you're printing the cards, the printer could fail or run out of ink. I say I misspelled that wrong. It's supposed to be ink, not IN. Sorry. So backup plan. If the app fails, then the students can write down the answers, and then you just input that data into Excel, and then graph can be created on how many got each answer correct. It's tedious. It's kind of like the old-fashioned method, but it is a backup plan, just in case it doesn't, the Plickers is not functional. Also, have another printer available when you got to print cards. Have, you know, extra supplies of toner and paper available at all times. Um, you don't need to print it out every single class, so just know ahead of time, maybe a week before you start the class, to make sure that you have your cards printed out. So I like this picture. It says practice and preparation equals problem prevention, and it's so true. Um, and important roles to remember when considering to add technology to the classroom. Don't let it take over the classroom. Don't only use technology, and make sure that it has a pedagogy. It's important to help the students learn. Um, and definitely become trained on it before you try to implement it in the classroom. Um, because then you spend most of the time trying to get it to work than to actually, getting the students engaged. You get them frustrated and they lose interest, they lose their focus. Always have a backup plan in case technology tool fails. So it's technology in the classroom, very important. Um, I like this little chart about most teachers have access to computers in the classroom, but they lack the right level of technology. Um, you would think that if they have a computer in the classroom, then why aren't they using it? Why aren't they using it to help their students? um, so very small, only 22% have the right technology, and that's very shocking to me. Um, so I like this. I had to add this to my slideshow. 7 habits of highly effective teachers who use technology. Um, they always start with the why. So it's technology for technology's sake is dangerous. Highly effective teachers who use the technology always have a reason for using new technology tools. So it's and also they're malleable and can easily adapt. Technology is constantly changing, and so the classroom environment will be different in 2 years. So probably in 2 years, everyone will have to use technology. Um, Times are changing, and technology is going to be a very important part of the education process. Teachers also need to embrace change. Um, they may be comfortable with the pen and paper method, but they have to be, adaptable and embrace that technology is in our society, and we need to utilize it to be effective teachers, effective students, just effective in your everyday life. Um, so here's my references. I read a lot about using technology in the classroom. Very interesting. And of course, I went with Plickers because I thought it was for the purpose I was looking at, or to solve my teaching problem. I think that would translate the info to the students to where they can understand. You ask questions and it gets them thinking. It gets them to critically think about the topic. So, and that's what teachers want. They want their students to critically think. They can retain the information for long periods of time and uh, utilize that info in their everyday lives. And that's what we want our students to get out of our classes and our course content. So my research problem of applying research into practice, or to effectively communicate to your students in terminology that they can understand. I use Plickers to solve this teaching problem, and I believe it's an effective tool, and I hope that more teachers begin to use it. Thank you.